Hi, this is Denise and Daniel Martin with Studio Atlanta Photography. Daniel has asked me to do a short video about the roles of being a photographer's assistant. Daniel and I have been shooting weddings for over 30 something years, and I have continually been his assistant and just helping him with all the things he has to do as a photographer. It helps if you have some other talents too. For example, I used to do a lot of hair and makeup for our wedding customers. Not so much anymore. As we get older, multitasking is becoming a hard thing to do. So I just wanted to take you through a few of the jobs that are included when you accompany a photographer to a wedding. So the first is to assist the photographer to make every activity run smoothly. So everything that happens at the wedding, from the introduction to the extended family, all the way to the reception where you are being asked to take different photographs from the groups that are there or the invitees, so that you can do as much as possible and they are not interrupting him while he is trying to do his job. So the first thing that you need to know is the equipment. The photography equipment is not hard to learn, but you do need to know the names of everything and where the things are kept, so that when Daniel asks me to get him a certain lens or to get the flash is set at a certain power, I need to know how to do those things so that he does not have to come away from his camera. Also, dealing with people is very important. So as the assistant, I try to make sure that I, number one, know as many names as possible. Definitely the bride and the groom, you want to be able to call them immediately. Their parents, if they are there, you want to be able to call them by name, so that if you need help, if you need to get other people from the family that maybe you're not quite as familiar with, you can know exactly who to call, and it doesn't sound like you're just saying, hey, you. Answering questions. Definitely there are going to be people who are coming up to you during the either getting ready pictures or even right before the ceremony, definitely during the reception, and they're going to be asking questions. It is better for them to know that they can come to you and ask, so that again, they don't have to talk to the photographer and he can keep doing what he is doing, which is taking the best pictures possible of whatever's happening at the time. Also, to run interference. There are going to be people at weddings who are going to want to monopolize the photographer's time, whether it is a aspiring model who thinks that she should be in all the pictures, or whether it is just a family member who wants 50 pictures of them with lots of different people at the wedding. You need to make sure that you can run the interference so that they are not going to the photographer and interrupting him from doing his job.
If they come to me, I always say, go find my wife, Denise. Always.
Exactly. And then that way, if I know for sure that we are not going to be able to get that many pictures, or we can't do the request that they are asking, then I can politely distract them or just tell them that we will get to it. And then if we don't have the time, then it's not Daniel's fault, it's mine. Then definitely paying attention to the details. That is definitely something that I have to watch for as I am posing the pictures. Assistants need to be able to be available the whole time that Daniel is taking the formal pictures for a wedding. So when he is shooting the bride with her bridesmaids, I have to be there, number one, to organize the picture and to put them in the proper places. Then I also have to pay attention to their jewelry, to their dresses, making sure that everything is set, making sure that they hold their flowers in the right position, making sure that everybody is just exactly where they need to be, making sure that Their hand placement is correct. You want to make sure that they do not place their hands anywhere on the belly area. That's not a good place to be. And if at all possible, to make sure that their elbows are always crooked or bent so that it gives their form a better picture. Make sure that you are taking care of all the difficult children. A lot of times when Daniel is taking a huge family picture and we have lots of little children in the picture, I will tell all of the adults, just keep smiling and looking at the camera. I will get the children to look. And so I clap my hands. I do anything to get their attention.
It is very important that your assistant stresses to everyone in the picture to keep looking at the camera, because no matter how many times you tell them to do that, 3 or 4 people are going to try to get the kid to smile. The kid's going to smile, and the other 3 are going to be looking at the kid. You just have to take this picture over and over. I think last wedding I shot like 7 shots, maybe 8 or 9 of this big group shot, because we kept saying, look at us. When the child looks at us, we're going to shoot the pictures, but that doesn't help if their parents or whoever's looking back at the kids. So that's very important, to be patient and continue to shoot that picture, especially if it's a big group. You may have blink, so you need to make sure that you get 1 out of 9 at least. It's good.
You also need to, as the photographer's assistant, be able to take control if necessary. So assistants need to have the personality where they can raise their voice a little bit if needed, be able to get people's attention so that you can give directions and make the photographer's life a lot easier. You also need to be able to distract if necessary. So make sure if Daniel's has a malfunction of some sort with his camera, or if he has to run download very quickly, or he has to change something about his lighting, then I will go into the next pose and just take my time, make sure that everybody is correct, make some jokes with the people who are standing there, just to make time slow down just a little so that he can finish what he needs to get done and then go back to taking the pictures. Another very important thing for an assistant to know is that you are constantly looking for alternate photo locations. The photographer doesn't always have time, or he might not see other places or other props that you could bring in that are in the room where you're taking the pictures. So using a piano bench a lot of time to achieve different layers in larger pictures, putting a bride on a bench or on a pretty love seat and bringing a ring bearer or a flower girl to them and putting them on their lap, getting them closer together, a window that has very pretty light at the time. Outside, if there's a patio or a porch or a pretty tree that has lots of shade, have to have shade to take pictures. Those things might not be recognized by the photographer as the day goes on. And if you can bring that to his attention, then he can get even better pictures using the things that are just readily available. Basically, the photographer's assistant job is to make the photographer's job easier. So as little as possible that he has to come out from behind the camera, the better. So my job is to make his job easier, and it definitely makes the pictures look better.
It does. And the good thing about being a photographer with a great assistant is when you run into these people a few years later somewhere, they just commend how great you did. And she just basically told you she does 90% of the work. But you still get all the credit, so you're good to go.
He just pushes the button.
I'm a button pusher. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll be putting out some more videos. Click that subscribe button down at the bottom. Thank you. Hit stop.